Who's
Thank
test
you.
scores for all?
When discussing the issue of K-12 education, there is no free public education. Every decision that is made here in Washington, D.C. or within any state or local community comes at the cost of the American taxpayer. Plyler versus Doe effectively imposed an unfunded mandate whose consequences due to years of neglect and mismanagement of our immigration system across multiple administrations has gone far beyond what could have ever been foreseen in 1982. This is evident as the court's decision rested on the assertion that the number of illegal aliens in public schools was small and that there was no evidence in the record suggesting that illegal entrants impose any significant burden on the state's economy. We know that is absolutely untrue. And I'm sure that Mr. Saines, if he actually read the data, would recognize that as well. This decision, which came at a time markedly different than the circumstances we face today, negatively impacts every aspect of participation of our public education system at the cost of hardworking American families. Reporting from 2023 found that New York City grappled with the challenge of incorporating nearly 20,000 illegal alien students into its classes, while in 2024 the Denver Public Schools incorporated over 3,000. Ms. Drogan, knowing that schools are generally unable to ask about a student's immigration status, does any consistently reliable data exist that could give us an idea of how many illegal alien students are enrolled in our public school systems and how much it costs the American taxpayer?
It's all just estimates, and I would say that that's very intentional, whether it's weaponized opaqueness or incompetence. The idea is that they don't want us to identify them, to understand and be able to give accurate numbers on how many, where they are, what the impact, not just the cost, but the socioeconomic impact of entire communities. Again, I was listening to Mr. McClintock talk about the mother talking about she wanted to get her kids away from gangs. There are gangs in Houston schools. Trende Aragua is in his Houston schools. This has been proven. So to say that we can give an accurate number, we can use Census Bureau data, we can use different entities trying to extrapolate from Customs and Immigration or other services. But the truth is we don't know, and that is very intentional, particularly by the Obama administration's Dear Colleague letter in 2011.
Well, then, Mr. O'Brien, wouldn't you say that the same is true for crime statistics? Isn't that intentional to ignore the immigration status of many people who commit crimes in order to cover up the fact that, in fact, illegal aliens do commit crimes at a higher rate than native-born?
Yes, that is 100% correct. And you also have to take into account that any illegal alien is by definition a criminal because they have violated 8 USC 1325, improper entry by an alien, and so they've committed a crime to enter the United States.
Okay. If the data is not there and verification is not an option, are there adequate safeguards at the state and local level to monitor and mitigate misuse of taxpayer funding, including issues such as residency or enrollment fraud?
No, not anyone that can track it accurately. We simply do not have the data.
What reforms, if any, have been taken at the Biden-Harris border crisis? Has there been any?
No, the most recent has been Tennessee has passed a law through the House asking to be able to track this data.
All right, and again, Ms. Drogan, given that the national average cost of educating a single student exceeds $16,000, how have state and local governments accounted for spikes in enrollment stemming from unchecked illegal immigration?
It's crushing. The debt in Texas is growing from not just what we're spending at the state level, but we also have to recognize that our bond debt, we have $234.2 billion of bond debt. This brings massive amount of debt from our taxpayers, and we cannot identify who they are, where they are going, and the impact on Texans as a whole.
So have essential services programs or facility improvements been reduced or delayed due to the enrollment burden that Plyler versus Doe imposes on our nation's schools?
I think that's a very accurate statement that there are students that are not getting the services, American students, whether they're special education students or in other classifications that are not getting the services because we are having to redirect student funding to pay for English second language teachers, tutors, all sorts of this. But also, as I noted in my testimony, there's a whole host of other problems, not just chronic absenteeism, but you look at the medical results, the mental health problems. When you have these students that are coming in and they have severe mental health problems due to traumatic events, whether it's rape or violence that they've occurred, this takes other resources out of the school system.
Okay, well, I thank you for the testimony. I have many other questions, but I also want to at this point ask unanimous consent to introduce an article entitled Illegal Immigrant Student Accused of Groping Girls in North Virginia High School, related to an adult student who lied about his age so that he could enroll in high school. I also would like to introduce unanimous consent for an article, Vance reveals $19 billion in fraud uncovered in Minneapolis and hints that California is the next target.
Without objection.
Clearly erasing any financial benefits that illegals may provide in this country. Thank you, and I yield back.
I thank the gentleman.